All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So we have this report coming out from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN suggesting that Davante Adams is intrigued by joining a West Coast team. The LA Rams were mentioned, the LA Chargers were mentioned, and the third team that was linked was the San Francisco 49ers. Now, Davante's obviously under contract with the Jets, but, I got to say, I can't remember a player, like a current player, that has been linked to so many different teams, and it's just so normalized, right? I mean, Davante's talked about the Washington Commanders. There's like Green Bay Packer rumblings, all still as a New York Jet. But, this is not even including the Jets rumors when he was with the Raiders. All that talk, all that speculation joining Aaron Rodgers. There was a report that came out, I think it was last week, or it could have been a couple days ago, suggesting that the Jets have not, they haven't talked to or reached out to Davante Adams, like, at all. And to me, I kind of looked at it as like a non-story. Really, I think what it comes down to, super simple, super black and white. I think if Aaron Rodgers stays, Davante Adams stays. If Aaron Rodgers leaves, Davante Adams leaves. I just don't see a situation where the Jets keep Rodgers but cut or trade Adams. That doesn't make any sense. Or if we get rid of Rodgers, I mean, that's a pretty, that to me is a pretty big shift, right? We're changing the quarterback position. Rodgers is owed a lot of money. For Davante Adams, would he, I mean, clearly he's already looking at other teams here, but, and has been looking at other teams here, other options for him. But, also I think it would maybe make sense for the Jets, to get rid of that enormous contract, as well as adding draft capital. Because I do think there's a team out there that would trade for Davante Adams. Aaron Rodgers, not so much. Personally, I think they will probably both be out. That's just my guess based off of everything that we've seen, based off of the reality of the situation, looking at Aaron Rodgers' age, understanding that if Rodgers were to come back, it would probably just be a 1-year type of thing. And because of that, that's a pretty big roll of the dice. When you talk about the money that's involved with Aaron Rodgers, what is it, $23.5 million this season, $60 plus million in 2026 if Rodgers comes back for this season. We look at Davante Adams' cap hit. What is that? I think it's 35 or 30. I believe it's $37 million cap hit for Davante Adams in 2025 and in 2026. That is a lot of money tied to two players, and one of which, Aaron Rodgers, is probably only going to be here for the one season if he if the Jets want him back and if Rodgers wants to continue to play. So age is a factor, money is a factor. The Jets are starting, I mean, man, we're seeing the Jets do all of these massive changes, right? First-year general manager, first-year head coach, first-year OC, brand new offensive system. The coaching staff is being overhauled. I mean, man, we have all these brand new faces stepping into the organization, really trying to change this culture around. The only coach I believe up to this point that has been retained is Sean Jefferson at wide receivers coach, which is a move I like, and it seems like a lot of players really respect Coach Jefferson. But I mean, man, we're having internal front office changes. The Jets have literally let go of multiple execs that have been here. One was here for 16 years. One was here for 8 years. The Jets have moved on. They've hired Rick Spielman, added him to the front office. I mean, I got to be honest, it really feels like Woody Johnson is doing things differently this go round, right? Him and Chris Johnson, it seems like they're going about it just differently, compared to years past. To me, it's just all of this change, all of these new acquisitions, all of these new faces. I just find it really hard to believe that the Jets are going to say, okay, we're going to keep Rodgers, keep Davante, pay out all this money for like a 1-year kind of ride. Now, of course, you can argue, maybe Rodgers gives you the best chance to win. But of course, there's multiple counter arguments to that, which is, the Jets had an easier schedule in 2024 compared to 2023. Rodgers played all 17 games with the players that he wanted, with the offensive system that he wanted, with the coaches that he wanted, and the Jets provided all of it, and it resulted in 5 wins with a lot of disappointing losses along the way. Of course, not all of those losses were on Aaron Rodgers. We could talk about the horrible coaching or the missed kicks or what have you, but one of the counter arguments to that is, well, Rodgers was hurt and he's forcing his way out there, really trying to battle back, trying to be a warrior, dealing with the knee, dealing with the ankle. Totally fair. But then you can counter that by saying, okay, well, 1 year further along into his career, that just proves the durability concerns, right? It proves that point where, who knows, if Rodgers comes back, the Jets want to pay him all this money. And what happens if he gets hurt in week 2, week 4, week 5, and he's out for 10 weeks or something? And now the Jets are on the hook spending all this cash, and we're rolling out Jordan Travis, we're rolling out Tyrod Taylor, we're rolling out a different quarterback anyway. So I don't know. My gut is telling me that the Jets, I just don't see Rodgers coming back. And Davante Adams, I feel like is also, I feel like, especially at this point in Davante's career, I don't necessarily know if he wants to play with Rodgers moving forward. For example, if the Jets were to move on, because again, I don't think Rodgers is going to be traded. I just don't see another team taking on this deal and also giving up assets to go get Rodgers. But if he gets released and signs on to like Pittsburgh, I could see Davante wanting to join up there. But I don't necessarily think that Davante Adams is 100% locked in to, I only want to play with Aaron. So I don't know. It's an interesting situation. The one thing I'll say is this: I hope that it's resolved before free agency, because I don't want to be dealing with the uncertainties. I mean, who knows? Maybe Rodgers retires. Maybe the Jets want him back right now, and Aaron is unsure about his future, and so we're kind of in this waiting game, waiting for Aaron to make up his mind. Like, again, who knows how this thing is going to play out? But all I do know is that there's a lot of cash that's tied to both of these players, and unfortunately, both of these players seem to be linked together. So, probably looking at, if one goes, both go. If one stays, they both stay. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section on this. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your Saturday, and as always, go Jets.